Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Jimmy. We're making it work. We're going to spend a day in the shop fixing some cars, but not this Silverado that we looked at about a month ago and said it needed a steering box. They're having Bill do it for some reason. I guess they make more money that way, whatever. But it's been kind of an odd week. We've been trying to get things done and make it work, and it just hasn't been going well. We're at the 17-hour mark Friday morning. So we're going to see what we can do today. Hopefully turn that around. I'll put some clips in right here, show you what's going to happen in this video today. 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, 2013 Chevrolet Cruse, Chevrolet Camaro. I think it's a 2012. Let's take a look. 2018 Mercedes E300. Gonna get a wheel. There's a lot going on other than a beautiful sunrise, obviously. We're gonna make it work one way or another. Even if we don't have that many hours this week, we'll be all right. Just been slow, at least for me. So, I know, right? There's a lot of complaining going on from you too. Just keep your chin up and keep rowing. Let's finish getting the shop open up and see what we can do to turn this week around today. Have some fun, learn a thing or two. Stay tuned. All right, there's no work for me yet, so I'm gonna take this thing for a drive from yesterday, put the cat on. If you didn't see that video, it's just one video back on my main page. I'm just in a holding pattern waiting for something to come in. Nothing on the schedule yet, so it'll be walk-ins today. We'll see what happens with that. So hopefully things turn around, because it's going to be like the worst week I've had ever so far. I'm staying hopeful though. I'm staying positive. I'm going to go drive this car, and then we'll come back, see if there's something going on. 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. Customer says, I need an auxiliary battery. My stop start doesn't work. 33,822 miles. Love rating is 6, just slightly above average for 6 years old. Not too bad. Needs to be vacuumed to be higher. Let's get that battery in this thing. Customer requested the auto stop start battery, which I think they start on that one, and that's the auto stop start. I don't know. One thing I do know, that looks fairly new. That doesn't. So we're going to put one in. That's what somebody wanted me to do. That's what I'm going to do. This just unsnaps. This is like 10 millimeter, and it lifts off 10-10. Should be out of there. Pretty easy, I think. Wow, there's like a thread lock on that little 10 millimeter bolt. Or it was cross threaded, I don't know. Really freaking tight. That was crazy. Come on. That's how things are going this week. Now this other battery is going to be live, so I got to be careful with that positive terminal. Alright. I guess I could find a way to cable bolts to this and disconnect it that way, but that's no fun. Take this off of here. That's like 1/8 of an inch from fitting out. Cool. You guys are awesome. You guys, that's awesome. You know what I'll do? I'll just turn it out sideways. That's alright. Should be a little smaller this way, right? What's the big deal? Now I don't want to let them take the core before I get these out this time. They tried to tell me last time, those don't screw out of there. Okay. They do on every other one I've ever done. Oh my goodness. Simple. Something so simple. There you go. Alright, do that first. I hope it fits with this plastic thing on there. Oh, maybe I need to take that off. That's what it looks like. I think it's going to interfere. Take it off. There you go. Must just be like a shipping cover deal. A couple of 10s. Retainer strap. dig my bolt out of there, and we're good to go. Alright. New car status has been achieved. Once I pop that duct on, my work here is done. Now my work here is done. 2013 Chevrolet Cruse, one of the finest General Motors products ever made from a mechanic's perspective. They said their key fob doesn't unlock the doors. Is this a key fob? That's not really a key fob, but I guess if you have it programmed to the doors, it is. Hello. Alright. Let's see if the key fob works. This beauty, I'm gonna give her a love rating of 6, and I'm gonna see if the mile 138,251 miles. And these air in the tires, we know that much. There it is, 138,251, and it's not 2010. That much I can tell you. I'm gonna look under the hood, see. Oh, it's got a broken windshield. They didn't ask about the air in the tire warning or the windshield, of course, but I know the oil change isn't due for a little while. I'm gonna look under the hood, see if the battery's been replaced. Maybe they lost the memory to their aftermarket key fob or something. Is that even a key fob? It says on the ticket the key fob doesn't work. They don't have one. Oh, it's gonna be one of those weeks and one of those days, and I'm just gonna chuckle about it and row my boat. That's all. I don't know if this is even a remote. I don't know. Am I pushing on the little bear's eyeball or something? I don't know. Let's look under the hood, see if it's got a new battery, what's going on with that, and then go talk to Paul Harvey and see what they're talking about. Maybe I didn't get all their keys from them or something. I don't know. I'm a little baffled right now. Probably obvious. Okay, Paul Harvey told me that the concern is the key doesn't unlock the door. That's not a key fob, FYI. Oh yeah, it's not hooked up. It's not connected to anything. Alright. Gotta take the door panel off and see what's discombobulated. See if we can pop something back in place. Something like that. Torx bit. Probably a Torx under here. Someone's been messing with it already. Okay. Let's get that door panel off of there. Since someone's already loosened a lot of stuff up for me, it should be easy. This will have to come off. Don't think it's any more. Around here should just be all pulling her off of there. Push pin type deal. Oh, they've already been push pinned to death. Oh, that's broken. That's terrible news. A couple of connector doors. There you go. Oh, push pins in the speakers. That's not where they go. Alright, first things first, I gotta put the window up. Might have to put the switches back in. That's alright. We'll do it. Not like there's a lot to do today, so no worries. Work with what you got to work with. The front connector is the mirror. Then I should put the windows up and down. I'm going to go quite all the way up in case I accidentally lock the door or something when I close it. Turn this key off so the battery don't die. Now I have a flashlight away from seeing what's going on. Let me get those keys, put them in the lock cylinder. The linkage is hooked up, but nothing looks like it's happening, I guess. Get this arm out of the way. Isn't that something? Well, see if I can do it by hand. Yep. Something internal to that lock cylinder. Something internal to the lock cylinder, or there's a tab. Sometimes the lock cylinder will go into a tab and it's lined up with the lock cylinder, and if it breaks off, then the lock cylinder will turn and not turn it. So I'm gonna look a blow-up diagram on Identifix, see what that might look like inside it. See if I have to recommend the lock cylinder or the piece it might turn that connects the lock cylinder to the linkage. If I pull the linkage, it moves the latch. So, all right, let's look that up, print out a diagram, and I'll show you that. All right, I can't find a good diagram. It just says replace the lock cylinder 0.3. So we'll get us a little Torx, or yeah, it's a Torx that fits in there. Looks like some of them messing with that too. We'll pull this out and then we'll see what it looks like. 0.3, it should be real quick and easy. Oh, see, told you it was easy. Let's see if this thing turns with the key. Nope. Looks like there's supposed to be something in there that's not in there. Interesting. So it's the actual lock cylinder itself. That's good. Let's have a peek in the door just in case. I'll put this down and have a little peek at the yep, that's all intact. Okay. So it's the lock cylinder's bad. That's easy. Let me go let them know up front, see how hard it is to get one. And coding it to the key, that'll be the interesting part. I've done it before. You can open the lock up and there's little gates in there that you can mess with. It just felt like it latched or something. Oh, okay, no. There's little gates. You could change the tumblers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you change the tumblers, put them in the order they're supposed to be. So if I get a new one, I could take the old one apart, see what order they're in, and match it so it'll work with this key. Or you can just pay a locksmith $70 to do it. That's no big deal. Probably a little easier actually, and they'll give you some kind of warranty, but we'll see what we do with this one. Well, that was interesting. When you pull this out with the handle in, it doesn't let you move the handle anymore. And I shut the door not knowing that. Luckily I have the gap I showed you earlier, so I was able to pull the inner door handle and open it back up. But I pulled the door handle out, so I took the lock cylinder out, and I won't let it back in. Chevrolet Camaro. I think it's a 2012. Let's take a look. Make sure. Customer says it runs bad after you put gas in it, and the check engine light's on. Those of you who work on cars for a living like I do, you probably know. Sounds like a purge valve or a problem with the canister system. We'll check the codes first, make sure that we're on the right track with it. Oh, 15. Goodness gracious. I thought the headlights looked like the more modern version. They said it was 2012 on the paperwork, but carbon fiber accents. Ooh, fancy. Ooh, it's blinking the check engine light. Doesn't feel like it runs all that bad. Sounds like it might be a 4-cylinder turbo or something. It's hard to say. It's got a rough idle. It's like a vacuum leak. It's weird. It runs bad intermittently. Kind of strange. 109,672 miles on this General Motors product. It's already got a problem. I'm shocked. Have a look under the hood while these two are shaking hands. And once we know they're getting along, we'll look at some codes and see. But it does definitely feel like, I don't know why what would have to do with putting gas in it. She says she hasn't gotten gas in a couple of days. The light's blinking and it's running kind of rough right now. So could be coincidental. Could be to something with the purge valve that's in really bad shape. Oh, we don't need that. We'll go ahead and ping all the modules. Take a peek under that hood real quick. All right. Nothing looks asunder or askew or out of place. Is that a V6? I see one pipe. I see two pipes. It's a V6. Felt like a 4-cylinder, so maybe that's a problem. Looks like it's running pretty good right now. But the engine cover's on, the air box is back together, mass airflow is plugged in, nothing obviously leaking with the cover on. We'll have to pop the cover off, but we'll wait to see what the codes are before we get that crazy. Interesting. No add-on accessories or wiring modifications, all stock. I like to see that. You buy yourself a nice vehicle and then start cutting into the wiring and adding stuff, you're just asking for problems. So I like it when they haven't been messed with too much. If you're going to add like LED lighting or something that's different, you can go right into like a main battery cable and not touch the factory wiring harnesses and stuff. I suspect with this Colorado that we had problems with, someone was messing with that. It's got a lot of accessories and lights added to it and stuff. But anyway, 5 ECM codes, 1 EBCM, which is probably related, telling you there's a code in the ECM, and then some BCM codes. I'll send a report up front to Katie, and we'll have it in our files that way. We'll take a look at those codes. Uh-oh. Thing these window regulators. I went to put the windows up. Oh, that one works. Okay. The driver's one doesn't. Oh, well. Let's see why with check engine light flashes and it runs but intermittently. That is interesting. We'll have to note that. This thing's still playing, so. Oxygen sensor circuit high voltage, bank 1. Oxygen sensor circuit low voltage, bank 2. Bank 2 sensor 1, bank 2 sensor 2. Fuel trim lean, bank 2. Misfire, current. Evap system flow during non-purge, current. Invalid data received from ECM. History, keyless entry, passed and failed. License lamp, current. License plate open, current. We're definitely going to focus on this purge flow during non-purge. That's almost always a stuck open purge valve. It sees the fuel tank pressure changing when it doesn't want it to, and it sees that there's also fuel trim issues. So it tells you pretty much, hey, take a look at that purge valve, silly. The O2 sensor codes, that's unusual. High voltage, bank 2 sensor 1, low voltage, bank 2 sensor 2. Could those be caused by these fuel trim problems? Possibly, but it sounds like it's describing heater when it says heated oxygen sensor circuit high voltage. It could mean fuel trim voltage is high, but I would think it'd have a different code than that. Let me pop that engine cover off. We'll see if the purge flow is purge flowing when it's not supposed to be. We'll bring up data, make sure it's on 0. We can actually go into actuator test. That's a great thing about bidirectional. I can force the purge valve off, see if it flows vacuum. If there's any doubts about whether it's turned off, you just unplug it and it'll set a circuit code. You'll have to clear that code when you're done, but engine cover's off. Purge valve is always connected to manifold vacuum somehow or another. This one actually pushes into the manifold, has its own little nipple, 10mm bolt, and this line goes back to the tank. So the purge valve can be used to dry the fuel vapor canister back by the gas tank. So this other line runs all the way back to the tank. So what it can do is unplug it. I can feel it clicking right now, so it's running it right now. So it's gonna be pulling vacuum. We'll go into data. We can see if the fuel trim's changed based on whether that's connected or not, and we can also go into evap data and see if it thinks it's running, I would assume, but we can look. Evaporator purge solenoid valve command. It'll probably be at 30 to 40% or so right now, but oh, 7%, that's very low. Okay, let's go into functional tests and actuation tests and see if we can shut the purge valve off and see what happens. Evap system, purge solenoid valve. Minimum 0, maximum 100. Right now it's at 7, so I'm going to decrease it. Commanded state is 0, so we should not get any vacuum now. Still flowing plenty of vacuum. So definitely got a bad purge valve. That's one problem. That one's easy. Now these other fuel trim codes and all, I would assume are probably going to be caused by that purge valve. There's no way to be really sure until we fix the purge valve, or I can unplug that hose, plug the purge valve, and see what the fuel trims do. Let's try that, just so we can watch the correction and how it's going to affect the data. We'll go into fuel trim data. I'll go get a rubber cap. We'll bring up a couple of fuel trim data PIDs and we'll take a look at that. It is really mad. One bank is way negative, one's way rich. Let's combine them. So we're going to be looking for the short and long term here to correct. Short is subtracting a bunch, long has added a bunch over some time. So if we unplug this again, there we go. I'm just going to cap that. We'll see what happens with the fuel trims. Should start bringing the long term down, because the short term is pegged trying to remove fuel. So it knows I have to change my main fuel window, which is the long-term trim, to accommodate what's happening right now in short-term. So you should keep seeing this long-term trim drop, drop, drop. What happens with, I think what confuses a lot of people on these purge valves being stuck is when the canister is saturated with fuel, it sounds like she might also be topping it off. The way it runs really bad when she first starts it up means she filled that tank right to the top. But anyway, when the canister is saturated with fuel, it'll be too rich because it's pulling fuel vapors when it's not supposed to. Once it dries the canister out and the canister doesn't have a fuel saturation, then it becomes a lean condition. It'll actually hurt the fuel trims in the other direction. So it gets kind of confusing depending on the condition of the canister, how much, if it's full of fuel and granules and stuff. The only way we're going to know that too is if we get on a lift, pull the line off the canister and all. But I'm going to assume at this point that the purge valve is the problem because it's obviously stuck open. And when I pulled the line off, I didn't see any traces of carbon. You'll see like an ash or pieces of carbon if it's pulling canister debris into it. So I think we'll be all right. The fuel trims are still correcting. This is taking a long time to correct, so that means that canister might be full of gas. I think I do need to take a look at that, get it on a lift and look, just because even if the canister is not sending granules up, it may be fuel saturated, which means eventually it's going to send them granules up. So it may help the customer to go ahead and change the canister now rather than waiting for it to fail and contaminate everything. So I think that's what we'll do, take a quick look at that canister on the alignment rack. Now if I hook the purge valve back up, see what that looks like. Now the fuel trims will go back the other direction. See the long term's going back up. So let's get a peek at that bad Johnny. I'm hoping it's not buried under all kinds of crazy shields, but we'll see. All right, don't try this if you're not an expert. Driving with the hood up. All kinds of other crazy stuff going on here. Oh, the car sits really low too. Just made it up onto the rack. Got a little mirror up there I can see. I don't want to get too far forward, hit the front. Some of these cars have low front bumper stuff. All right, let's look at that canister. They got some cool muffler delete pipes in there. That's sweet. This has a saddle tank and it looks like the canister is going to be above the tank. So much for easy inspection of the canister. I think this is the purge line. I don't want to disconnect the wrong one. That might be metal. If it's metal, it's generally fuel, and if it's plastic, it's purge. But I'm gonna make sure which one of these and at least look for granules coming out of it back here. Maybe it hasn't traveled up front yet. Sometimes the kinks will slow them down. And we can just check. If you got to do a canister on this thing, it's going to be like 7 hours labor. It's ridiculous, but that's the way they just did it. So the car is cool. Looks like it's in good shape otherwise. All right, let me ask them what they want to do and see if which one of these is going to be my canister line. Take a quick peek at that, and then we'll revisit this car. See if they want to fix it. All right, pull the line off of there. Pull the little push pin out to get to that. Electrical connector I'll get after I unbolt her and pull her out of the manifold. Looks like he's got his underwear on over his jumpsuit. I don't know. I can't explain it. Oh, we got a quality Napa part. Probably Eklund or something like that. Made in USA. It's got to be flawless. This will just pop out of here. Allegedly. Might need some form of leverage device. They want to break it off in the manifold though, so you gotta be a little genteel. This connector will free it for good if I can get it up. Uh-oh, that didn't sound right. Let's do this. There it is. Come on, man. Don't make this an ugly thing. Doesn't have to be like that. Now, this is probably a build-a-kit. All these rubber bushings won't be in it and stuff. We'll see. I don't want it to drop down in here, so let's do this. It comes with a bolt and everything. Now, this is a total budget. They don't even put the O-ring on it for you. Lazy Americans. coordinated electrical connector. This one goes up front. Electrical connector on that side. Looking at the old one. And this bushing I might have to remove to get this rubber to relax enough to get this side to go in. Like this. Like that. It's got to be turned 90 degrees. Now I can put this bushing back. Make sure it faces the same way the original one did. The bolt goes on this side. Doesn't matter. I'm calling an audible. I didn't design it. I didn't break it. I'm going to start this by hand, although it's a pretty tight squeeze. Put a little deep creep on there if it really gives me a hard time. Yeah, you guys are also hanging out with my son, making a whole bunch of noise. Look at them fuel trim and see how they look now. Alright, I went in special functions, fuel trim reset, and hit reset. So now we should be good. Go see what it looks like. All that does is speed up the process instead of waiting a long time. We can tell it to do it and then see where it goes back to. So long fuel trims under L, bank 1, bank 2, and short is under S, bank 1, bank 2. That's not good. I was worried it might have more than one problem. Now, bank 2 has an issue. Let's see if it set any codes. Let's see if I also cleared the codes. Read fault codes. Oxygen sensor misfired, lean. Okay, let's clear DTCs. See what that does. Read fault code. Not setting the code yet. I don't feel like it's running that great. I'm gonna have to take this thing for a little drive. See if I can figure something else going on besides that stuck open purge valve, which, like we said, we know that's bad. We got to fix it to see what happens with fuel trims afterwards. Something else is still going on with this thing, so we have to dig a little deeper. We'll see. After a drive, maybe it'll settle down. All right, we've shuffled some cars around here, so I can look at these O2 sensors. Something is going on with the O2 sensors. If you look at this one, this purple one, bank 2 sensor 1, it's pinned at 1.96 volts. I think the heater is shorted in this O2 sensor. So it's showing way more volts than it should have. And that is making bank 2 sensor 2 go all the way lean. See, the other ones are switching around. This one's pinned lean and this one's pinned ridiculously rich, which over a volt is not something that we should be seeing. So something's probably going on with that O2 sensor. It did clean up and start running good now. I'm thinking because it finally went into default and started ignoring the O2 sensors on this bank. So we'll unplug this one, see what happens with the voltages, see if it runs better when we start it back up. This should be bank 2 sensor 1. We'll unplug it, fire it back up, see what we get. All right. 2018 Mercedes E300, gonna get a wheel on the left front and an alignment. Up right front, I mean. That's gonna be why they're changing it, because it's got some major damage. The rest of it's just cosmetic, but we got a brand new wheel in the box over there. This is one of those wheel lock keys you don't want to lose. Someone's greasing the threads. Nasty. Whatever it is, like a powdery grease. Yeah. Ooh, even the valve stem cap has a Mercedes logo on it. That's very nice. Fancy. Let's get this thing over on the tire machine. side. Hopefully it'll come off of there like that. Make sure that's not going to lean on this wheel too hard. You know, this is the old wheel. I want it set up for the new wheel when I put it back together, right? Well, all right, this one here, man. Kill me, bro. Got it. Pretty stiff little tire. It's got a decent size a little bit. Feels like a truck tire, like an 8-ply. Oh my goodness gracious. .3 this pays. I want to have 35 minutes of a tire mounting footage. Really? All right, cannot get this tire off the wheel. I think it's some kind of run flat deal, and the sidewall is too rigid for me to get it up over this wheel. I've never done one. I've heard horror stories, and kind of feeling the vibe now. So let me see what we do with this. It's got to go like all the way to that top lip. It looks like. Good luck.
Oh my God.
So we need someone with a little bit stronger back, gigantic biceps, and a small penis. Pick me! I wish that was as much fun as it sounded like it was. Alright, that was fun. Took me and Rob to get her off of there. Now we're going to swap this wheel out. Center cap can be reused. Pull the valve stem out of there too. That's a 12mm LP lead. .3. How you like that? Let's go get that other wheel. Now, the fun part begins. I believe this was the outside. Ballast them around. This. My little helper. Hopefully don't hit me in the stomach. You know how stiff the sidewall is. I pressed on the sidewall here to get it to pop in over there because the sidewall is freaking stiff, let's just say that. This is a torquing valve core insert tool. Like mine is a hardcore one. This one won't let you tighten. Oh, they've snugged it down. That's why it doesn't action. It's supposed to be a torque tool. Someone decided they didn't want to torque anymore by over tightening this. Now for a little balancing action. We're 5 inches from the machine, here to here. We are 8 inches wide from bead to bead, and we are 18 inches in diameter. That's the size tire, 18. I believe we're going to do aluminum 2, which is what it had before. Ounce on the outside, ounce and a quarter on the inside, but they'll both be behind the spokes. And the wheel's nice and clean, so the weights will stick great. Alright, got an ounce there. And there's the other one on the inside. Way in there. Let's see where this thing spins up to now. I might ask for a quarter ounce more on the inside. I'm trying to undercut it just a touch. See what happens. Sometimes they zero, sometimes they don't. Depends on how far from the threshold of it has a quarter ounce window roughly. So this one's good. Get it on that car, do a quick alignment. Hopefully it's not out. Doesn't look like it should be out very far. If it is, it'll be slight toe in the right front, I would assume. Mercedes, they're pretty durable cars when you bounce them off stuff. All right, oh, story time. Let's get the torque wrench and then we can put the heads on it. Look how pretty that new wheel is. Don't worry, this is only soap. It's not scratched. There. Now, and I'm pretty close. I'll take it. Alignment time. Reset the machines. I can start my alignment. Now we can begin an alignment, you suckers. Oh yeah, pretty clean inside. I mean, the body shop's involved, but it's probably going to be a 7 or an 8 otherwise, maybe higher. But that's what we're going with for now. Those of you not familiar with a Mercedes, this particular one especially, the shifter is on the right side. There's a turn signal and a shifter. So you want to go to reverse, you just push it up. You want to go drive, you go down. It shows you on the little display. Now I'm going to roll it forward very carefully because the heads are on it until I get greeny. I didn't say greedy, I said greeny. Now it's green. I might have to back up a hair, but it might make me finish the VIN information now. Yep. So we'll put it in park, enter some more information, come back and do the caster sweep. Step on the brake, turn it to the left, a little bit to the right. Come on now, don't mess me up. Straight. Wheel's gonna be off just, oh goodness gracious. Oh no. Every single thing is red but two. Alright, let's go out there and take a look. I think I can shut this off. I'm not going to put a brake lock and a steering wheel lock on it just yet. Going to go see what the adjustments are and where we need to go with this. Maybe something might be bent slightly. Alright, we got a lot of red stuff here, and if you go into illustrate adjustments, it wants you to take the lower control arms out and press bushings that are offset to correct camber and caster. Same thing for that. Got an offset bushing. So you got to do all the math, figure out what bushings you got to press in the arm, get the camber and caster corrected, then you can do your toe last. The back, I think there's an adjustment for. Nope, no camber adjustment. Okay. So we got some issues. I'm going to set the toe. Sometimes if the toe is corrected, the camber will get a tenth better or so. So it's worth a try. We'll set the toe, see where it ends up, but all of this only pays 1 hour, so we're going to see how close we can get and then let them know how much further we need to get or go, you know. To set the toe on this little link here is going to let me do that. The lock nut is an 18 and the adjuster is a 12mm triple square, so that's cool. Es Zusammenkauf sehr superior an Zweier adjusted und Zweier designed. So, oh, look at that. Alright. We'll lock it down right there, see what happened with that. Ooh, it's a whisper. Whisper over there. A little bit more, maybe I can get that green, we can go to the front. Alright, we have gotten this thing as good as we can. They're not worried about the rear because the accident was in the right front, but they're going to let us know about these bushings. For now, we set the toe, got the wheel straight. That's all we're doing on this one. It pays 1.3. I got a solid hour and a half in it, but what are you going to do? That's how this whole week's gone. Let's see if there's something else we can do today. Alright, we had a locksmith come by, and a locksmith got a key fob for the car and programmed a new lock cylinder to fit the key. So all I'm gonna do now is pop this in here. I hope I am. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Just gotta get my little tool, tighten that torque screw, and it should let the door handle relax once I tighten that screw. Well, you guys are gonna bounce around until I get that thing centered on that. Oh, you're bouncing on the air hose against the wall. Cool. Let's see what happens here. Let's see. Maybe. Bless you. Heck yeah. That would be the key.
Your O2 sensor might be here too.
Oh, doggy. Just gotta put this little plastic cap in here. Pop this some gum in. This here car is deliverable. Nice. I like it when a plan comes together. I hardly feel like I did anything. Alright, we popped a fresh new O2 sensor in the Camaro. Bank 2 sensor 1, that's the one I put in there. Now, should start correcting sensor 2 on bank 2. It was giving a lean code to this one, thinking it was pinned lean because it was believing this one showing the 2 volts. Now that this one's working, this one will work, and it won't set a code for this one. This is one of the tricky parts. Now, because I looked at this and saw 0.06 and it was pinned lean, This one was reading 1.9 volts, which anything more than 1.1 volts, there's something going on the sensor. So we unplugged the sensor and it stayed at 2 volts, just the same as when it was plugged in. The sensor is basically open circuit inside. No matter how it happens, that was a trouble. So we put that in there. We'll let this equalize a little bit, let it run a few minutes, make sure she's buttery. They're actually in the waiting room. I didn't have been waiting here for like 3 hours, so this one's done. I'll fix it. You can graph it now. Remember that purple line was ahead, was all up top and pinned. Now everything's switching nicely like it's supposed to. One Camaro back on the road, thank goodness. Stay off the sidewalks. 2020 Lexus ES350. Ugh. I don't know if we'll get to work on this much. It's closed up. It's got a bunch of lights on the dash. The young Jedi put a battery in it. And now these lights are really mad. Parking assistance warning. There's no codes in any modules though. I'm almost wondering if we just might need to drive it for it to relearn or something like that. 27,678 miles. A love rating of 9. This thing is nice. It's only a few years old, but maybe I should give it an 8. Anyway, I tried clearing codes and stuff. I've been playing with it a few minutes, but so I ended up with 39 hours this week. It wasn't too terrible, but not what I'm used to. I've been doing way better than that most of the time lately, but we'll take what we can get. We'll work on this car in the next video. It's got a lovely key chime. So we got the key chime off. We did some initial looking around here, trying to see if we can figure something out. I'm thinking we might just need to drive this thing, and we'll do that Monday. So thanks for watching today's video. Thanks for watching the whole week's videos. You know I post one every day, right? Every weekday if I work, there's a video for a day in the shop. So torque the like button if you haven't yet, and subscribe before you leave. I really appreciate it. Helps the channel out a lot, and I'd like to have you around more often. Maybe click that little bell. It'll let you know when I upload a video. And I hope I see you in the next one, because you're awesome.